In my livecast, which I recorded on Sunday night, I found myself revealing more than I intended to. I found myself pouring out my heart and soul a bit more than I intended to, and I'm a bit embarrassed about that. I'm a bit embarrassed, y'all. I really am. Not that I'm going to delete the video or anything. I'm not embarrassed enough to do that. But it's just one of those things. You know, you're always walking that line here in this venue between I don't know, self-reflection and self-indulgence. And I just there was something about this whole notion of the the insult of coping, the insult that gets hurled at you if you're trying to do better, or if you're trying to be happier, or if you're trying to not be miserable, if you're trying to pursue true manly stoic pursuits, which includes being okay with the world as it is, even in its imperfections, and being okay with not necessarily getting the kind of things that you want all the time, or maybe even much of the time. But or but in any case, it sort of became this more I don't know, soul searching, heart rending thing, more of a personal you know more of a personal way of expressing myself than I intended it to be. You never really know where your rants are going to go. You just don't. So, I don't know. I hope that people saw it and took something from it, and took from it a positive message, because God knows, we don't get a lot of positive messages as fellas, do we? Do we, fellas? We don't get a lot of positive messages. We certainly don't hear that we're wonderful as we are, and we don't ever have to change. The kind of stuff they say to women. They don't say that to us, do they? Do they, guys? They say, "Oh yeah, well, if you quit belly aching, you need to man up. Man up." Um, you know, you think no woman wants you? Why would a woman want you? What do you have to offer, really? Work on that. they don't they don't say things like that to women. They don't tell women to work on themselves. They say, "Honey, you're just beautiful and wonderful the way you are." And if the guy you're with doesn't appreciate you, or has problems with you in any way, you should just dump him and move on to somebody who can appreciate your true wonderfulness and all of its true wonderful splendor. That's just the way it is. I guess that's the way it's always been in a way. But it's more pronounced now with feminism. With feminism being mainstreamed. In the past, men were still told to man up and stop belly aching and all that, but women were also told, okay, you want to make it in life, you want to find a man to take care of you, a good man to take care of you. Here's some things that you might wanna work on. But they don't. That's just not said anymore. It's just you don't find it, generally speaking, in the mainstream. You go outside of the mainstream, and sure you'll find it there. But you just listen to you just stay on the straight and narrow and listen to the people that you're told you should listen to. The same ones who said to make sure your masks are covering your noses and as well as your mouths, and that you really needed to get your boosters. The same ones who say that kind of thing say these kinds of things too. There's a whole lot of malarkey going on. So I just hope that hearing what I said, that it's okay to cope, that coping is good, coping is healthy. You have to cope. Coping is not lying to yourself. Coping is not taking the easy way out, or coping is not it's not an expression of sour grapes, like, oh well, I really want these other things, but I can't have them, so I'm just going to pretend that I never wanted them in the first place. That's not what coping means. I mean, that's what it's come to mean in certain circles. But that's not what it means, and that shouldn't be what it means to you. That's all I'm going to say about it. There's a lot of pain out there. I'm not unaffected by it. I poured my heart out a little bit. And I didn't get a lot of, wow, yeah, you're right. You're right, Nowicki. I'm really glad that you've said those things. You've really helped me out a lot. Not that I'm asking for validation all the time, y'all. But you kind of, it's like a sometimes you just feel a little bit embarrassed about putting it all out there, and it not seeming to make much of a dent in people's thoughts. So just think about these things. I'm not saying pay me a compliment here. I'm not fishing for compliments, because that's just cope. That would just be cope if I were fishing for compliments. I'm not, and anyway, I'm not. I just wanted to explain why I'm still a little bit embarrassed about that last live stream, but not embarrassed enough to delete it. So take that for whatever you think it's worth.